All right, so I have seen a lot of content creators on YouTube doing these NBA 2K26 build videos because people have realized that the 26 and 25 builders are very similar. But the main difference between the two games is the Max Plus 2 badge perk, which can genuinely change the game on NBA 2K26. So I wanted to go through a couple of quick builds in this video today, talking about what I'm going to make at the beginning of NBA 2K25, some builds that stand out to me when it comes to the Max Plus 2 badge perks, overall what I think the game might be like with these different builds that might be a thing. And as always, these videos take time to make, so if you guys wanted to subscribe to my channel, that would be greatly appreciated. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and any subscription can get me one step closer to achieving my goal. Now we're going to start things out with the build that I am more than likely making first without a doubt, which is the 7'4" Victor Wembanyama build. Now obviously on NBA 2K25 we cannot make 7'4" build, so I unfortunately have to use a 7'3" as the template, but this is more than likely what I'm going to make as my first Wemby build on NBA 2K26. I'm going to make it at 7'4". I think overall this build at the beginning of the year is going to be really fun to play on. So we're going to have 80 driving layup, physical finisher on silver, using the custom layup styles on a 7'4" that might be really nice, 80 driving dunk, 90 standing dunk, get the elite big man standing contact dunks, whatever that threshold ends up being. It's been 90 standing dunk for the longest time, so I'd highly doubt they change it. We're going to have a 78 mid-range shot, 73 three-point shot. That's going to get a silver set shot specialist, bronze deadeye. And for what I've seen from the build info that we have gotten so far, many of the badge thresholds did not change. So when I'm listing these badge thresholds throughout this video, just know that most of these, from what I've seen throughout the videos that we have gotten, not a lot of these thresholds change. So I'm going to probably specialize in shooting on this build too, just because I know there's a lot of builds afterwards where I'm going to want the shooting specialization. So I want to grind that out early because it's going to take a lot of time. So with that in mind, there's two things we can do. We can max +1 deadeye to silver, or we can max +1 set shot specialist to gold, and then max +2 deadeye to gold. But I'll probably just max +1 deadeye to silver, max +2 set shot specialist to Hall of Fame. For the playmaking, gold break starter, gold dimer, nothing surprising here. Defense, 85 interior defense, 93 block gets us gold paint patroller. Now again, this is where things get interesting because I can use a max +2 on paint patroller and have legend paint patroller off the rip, and then high flying denier is tier 2 at this height, so I could do another max +2 on high flying denier and have high flying denier on Hall of Fame on a 7'4" Wemby build. Things are about to get glitchy with this builder, man. Things are about to get super glitchy. When it comes to the rebounding, we're gonna have an 84 offensive rebound, 92 defensive rebound. That's enough for gold rebound chaser. So you have two options. You can max +1 it to Hall of Fame, or you can max +2 it to legend. I think the goal when making your first build on NBA 2K26 is to try and get as many gold badges as possible, because we do not know how easy or how difficult it is going to be to get cap breakers. So I think having the ability to max +2 as many badges as possible is going to be really nice. So we have gold paint patroller. We can max +2, that's a legend. We have gold rebound chaser, we can max +2, that's a legend. We have gold break starter, we can max +2, that's a legend. We have gold rise up, we can max +2, that's a legend if we wanted. So that allows us to be a little bit more flexible with this build. So if we figure out that like something gameplay wise is broken or is really effective, then we could just switch up our max +2s. Let's say we can shoot consistently with gold set shot specialist. Now we just need to use a max +1, and maybe deadeye on gold is really good, so we can max +2 that instead with our shooting specialization. So I feel like it's going to allow people to make less builds, because with the max +1s and the max +2s, you're going to be able to be a lot more flexible with the builds you already have when it comes to changing your badges around. So this is probably the Wemby build I'm going to make. Again, I'm going to specialize in shooting, so I'll probably have just like a couple ticks lower in shooting, or I might just put my cap breakers that I get from shooting into free throw, considering the free throw is weighted differently next year. So I might start out with a low free throw and just use my cap breakers into free throw, because I want my max shooting off the rip. And once I have that grinded out, maybe when I make my stretch or whatever, it'll be used on like actual mid-range or three-pointer. But this is probably what I'm going to make to start out the year for my Victor Wembanyama build. Obviously, it'll be 7'4". So now let's move on to the build that I think will actually be really, really broken. This is going to be another 7'4". So understand, it's at 7'3". I don't have access to 7'4s in this builder, but 7'3", minimum wingspan, stretch big. Okay, let's just, the finishing is cool. 90 standing dunk, 87 post control, gold post powerhouse, gold post up poet. Like I said, once again, in the first build, having as many gold badges as possible might be really nice next year, because that allows you the flexibility to switch between multiple different legend badges. So although I only have gold post powerhouse, gold post up poet, I can max +2 either of these whenever I want and switch it up to legend if I really want to. Gold rise up, I can put it to legend if I want to. Now for the shooting. Now this is where things get nasty. This is why I said I wanted to specialize in shooting on the Wemby build, because when I make this build eventually, this is where the max +2 in shooting is really going to shine. This is where the shooting specialization is really going to shine. So with the max +2s, we're going to have, let me go down to my 3-point shot. Hall of Fame deadeye as a max max plus 2. Gold limitless range as a max plus 2 as a tier 2 badge. So these are our max plus 2s. And then with our shooting specialization, we can do another max plus 2 on set shot specialist to get it up to legend, or we could just do a max plus 1. So in reality, there is a world with the shooting specialization. We have Hall of Fame Deadeye, legend set shot specialist, gold limitless range on a 7'4" center. Now I know a lot of people are very quick to say, well, what if on a 7'4" the shooting is way lower than it is on a 7'3", and like the shooting's different next year on taller builds and you get less shooting? What if it's the opposite? Because if you guys remember, I think the last 2K where you can have a really high 3-pointer on a big build was like 2K23. What if like it's like 2K23 where I could get like a 90 3-pointer or a 92 3-pointer on a 7'4"? Nobody knows, but only people are thinking about the one end of the spectrum where it's like, oh, what if the 3-pointer is way lower? What if the mid-range is way lower and you don't get these badges? What if it's higher? You don't know. We're all just guessing at this point. So yeah, bare minimum, because I don't think they'll make it that much lower. And either way, limitless range on broads is an 83. So as long as I can get an 83 3-pointer, I'm chilling. So I can have gold limitless range, Hoff Deadeye, legend set shot specialist on a 7'4". That's gonna be disgusting. And then we will still have post fade phenom on Hall of Fame, which is a shooting badge. So we can use our shootings max plus 1 on post fade phenom and have legend post fade phenom on this build as well. Playmaking wise, 87 pass at gold break starter. That's just a good threshold for bigs, especially at the beginning of the year. You want to be able to throw breaks. Okay, 88 interior, 74 block, 92 defensive rebound, gold rebound chaser, gold box out beast. This is, again, what I've been talking about for the longest time. This is going to give your builds the most flexibility. So if you're playing with people where you got to get more rebounds and you're not going to shoot the ball as much, you can take off some of those shooting max plus 2s, put them into rebounding. Now you have legend box out beast, legend rebound chaser on a 7'4" stretch big whenever you need it. I don't know. I think the versatility and the flexibility that builds are going to have next year, being able to swap in and out badge max plus 2s whenever you want, it's going to allow your build to have a longer shelf life because you can make up for some mistakes that you might make in the build or earlier on in the year with max plus 2s. Let's say you need legend rebound chaser next year. All right, cool. I'm a max plus 2 my rebound chaser on this build. Perfectly fine by me. So it's just very interesting stuff to think about when going into the NBA 2K26 MyPlayer Builder. So this is probably the second build that I am going to make. It's going to be my 7'4" stretch big, aka the Chris Stapps Tingus Pingus build. Okay, so that's the 7'3", 7'4", whatever you want to call it. Enough with the 7'4s. Now we're going to move on to the 6'6". And this is, again, where I think things are going to get really interesting. The amount of flexibility that you have on a build like this, when it comes to max plus 2s, is going to be insane. This is like a 6'6" ISO build or a 2-guard build or something like that, right? Gold lightning launch, if you want, you can max plus 2, it's a legend. Gold limitless range, if you want, you can max plus 2, it's a legend. Gold posterizer, if you want. I think you get the gist as to what I'm saying. Now, you can't do all of these at once, but if you do like a shooting specialization, you can have legend limitless range while also having legend posterizer, and you can max plus 1 lightning launch and have Hall of Fame lightning launch. So you can have Huff lightning launch with legend limitless, legend poster, probably legend aerial wizard. You can max plus 1 it as a tier 2 on a 6'6". Does that not sound insane? Obviously, if you want to make more of like a playmaker version of this build, we're going to get to that in just a moment with the higher ball handle with the playmaking specialization, which I think is going to be an even cooler thing going into next year's game. But yeah, like this is insane. This build on next year's game, again, this is 0 cap breakers in mind. All these builds I'm showing, 0 cap breakers in mind. So it's going to be even more crazy as the year goes on. But again, legend poster, legend limitless, legend set shot, Hall of Fame lightning launch, or you could just stick with the gold badges or just max plus 2 one of these, do a playmaking specialization. You could have legend lightning launch, Hall of Fame handles for days, legend poster. Like, it's just the possibilities are endless. The amount of ways that you can make one build differently with just specializations and max plus 2s is it's just gonna be crazy. This is the 6'6" ISO build, but now let's talk about like a pure playmaker 6'6", okay? This is where things get nasty. Imagine a playmaking specialization. Koza's gonna probably make something like this. Imagine a playmaking specialization with this type of ratings, okay? You're gonna have legend lightning launch, legend handles for days, Hall of Fame ankle assassin with a max plus 1, and then you can max plus 2 diamond or legend with an 85 pass accuracy. And then you still have good ratings, you still have good defense. Like this this builder with the max plus 2s, it is going to, again, this is no cap breakers. This is going to allow people to just get so creative with the builds that they can make, where like we might see 6'6" 6'6" pure playmakers, 6'6" ISO builds, 7-foot stretch bigs with legend shooting badges across the board, which we're going to get to in just a moment. You guys are going to see, again, how broken this could get. So that's the 6'6", right? I was really just spitballing. These are all just different ideas. Now, this is the Westbrook build. We talked about this in my previous video. 6'4", maximum wingspan. Let's get to the elephant in the room. 80 defensive rebound. That's silver rebound chaser, right? Rebound chaser's tier 2. You can max +2 rebound chaser to Hall of Fame on a 6'4" and really make a Westbrook build. And then when it comes to your specialization, you can realistically do finishing. You could get legend posterizer, or you could do playmaking. You could get legend lightning launch. Technically, you could probably do both. You could probably have legend lightning launch with legend poster on a 6'4" with Hall of Fame rebound chaser. It's gonna be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Now, obviously, the big thing that matters with all of this is the badges actually have to work once you upgrade them to higher levels. So like if an 80 defensive rebound with silver rebound chaser is like about the same as what 80 defensive rebound with Hall of Fame rebound chaser is, then the +2 doesn't matter. But if Hall of Fame rebound chaser is way better, then this build is going to be absolutely crazy. Me and Sprague, we were talking about a build like this, and he's probably going to make a Westbrook build like earlier on in the year with this type of concept. So that'll be really cool to see. And now let's talk about the final two builds that I think are going to be really interesting with this concept. And I might actually lab up a meta center build at the end of this, but the Kevin Durant builds, okay, might be crazy next year too. The point forward builds, the Paolo builds, stuff like that. This is a max wingspan KD build, 6'10", right? You specialize in shooting with your max +2s. You're going to have Hall of Fame Deadeye, Hall of Fame Shifty Shooter, because Shifty Shooter's tier 2, and then you can still max +2 another thing. So you can have Hall of Fame Set Shot Specialist, Hall of Fame Deadeye, which your shooting specialization, and Hall of Fame Shifty Shooter on a max wingspan Kevin Durant build. Now the finishing, cool, gold physical finisher, contact dunks, this is all cool. But this is the stuff that really gets me excited about the NBA 2K26 builder, because now you can make builds for players that we could just never do before. Like there was no way possible to make a long-armed Kevin Durant build in previous 2Ks that gets Hall of Fame shooting badges across the board, right? Like this is gonna be insane, boys. Still get good playmaking, still get all of his SIGs, still get gold strong handle. That's tier 2, so if you really wanted to, you could get legend strong handle on a 6'10", which might be disgusting for other types of builds. But this is the KD build. The thing that I want to focus on again is the shooting. You're gonna have Hoff Deadeye, Hoff Set Shot, Hoff Shifty Shooter. Is this going to be a grind to get the shooting specialization done so you can still get all these badges on Hall of Fame? Yes, absolutely. But will it be worth it? Without a doubt. And this is not even the craziest version in my opinion, because now we could take a look at a 6'11" right here, right? Minimum wingspan. So not necessarily the most like Kevin Durant thing in the world because you have the little arms, but look, bro, listen, you already get legend post fade phenom. You have gold Deadeye, gold Shifty Shooter. You max +2 both of this. This one's tier 2, so it's effectively an easy thing to max +2. So you're gonna have legend Shifty Shooter, legend Deadeye, legend post fade phenom. Get max +1 set shot specialist to legend. Then with your other max +2, you have 3 max +2s. 2 of them are, if you do a shooting specialization, you'll have 3 max +2s. 2 of them you can use for tier 1 badges, and 1 of them you can use for a tier 2 badge. So you'll have Shifty Legend, set shot legend with a +1, gold limitless range with a +2, legend Deadeye with a +2 on a 6'11". Like that, those are the badges that you would get on a 6'6" in this year's game. Like this is going to be the most insane MyPlayer Builder when people actually understand how crazy you can make builds with the max +2s and with build specialization. There is going to be a real serious reason to make specialists in next year's game, because when you can stack badges like this, again, legend Deadeye, gold limitless, legend set shot, legend shifty on a 6'11", and again, who knows? We might get higher shooting on these builds next year. What if a 6'11" gets like a 93 pointer, so by default it gets silver limitless? Now we're talking about, again, legend Deadeye, off limitless, legend set shot, legend shifty. Disgusting. Disgusting stuff. It's very exciting too, though, at the same time. So I'm gonna lab up a center build really quickly, and I will get back in just a moment. All right, so let's talk about this meta center build that I was referencing just a moment ago. This is just a rough idea as to what I think might be a meta center build on NBA 2K26. Obviously, we don't know 100% for certain, but here's some things that I do want to point out really quickly. Obviously, 94 offensive rebound. You could eventually put cap breakers onto this. We don't know how hard it's gonna be to get cap breakers, but 94 offensive rebound is always just a good place to start. Get your gold rebound chaser, Hoff box out beast, right? You can always max +2 this to legend if you want legend rebound chaser off the rip, but if you don't want that off the rip, that is okay. You can eventually still just put cap breakers into this and use a max +2 somewhere else once you get the cap breakers. Shooting wise, 78 mid, 74 3, silver set shot specialist. If you want to specialize in shooting, you can get Hoff set shot specialist, silver Deadeye. Hoff set shot specialist with these ratings might actually be really solid next year, especially considering we will have a pure green window for shooting. Finishing wise, standard stuff, 80 driving dunk, 90 standing dunk. Gold rise up. Again, max plus 2 if you want, up to legend. 87 pass act, I think is just a good threshold. And here's an interesting thing. Interceptor is tier 2 at this height. So if you wanted to use a tier 2 max plus 2 on interceptor and have gold interceptor on a 7'1" center, you could do it if you really wanted to, which I think might actually be crazy. You already have silver high flying denier. You could use that tier 2 on high flying denier and have Hall of Fame high flying denier. But I think the interceptor might actually be a little bit more worth it. Maybe I'm just a little bit 2K25 coded when it comes to stuff like this. I feel like chase down blocks for the past 2 years haven't really been that great. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's better to just have the gold interceptor max plus 2, and then you could just like max plus 1 high flying denier to gold. I think that would probably be the best way to do it. But overall, I think a build like this in next year's game, especially with centers, might just be taller in general. The meta might be 7'2s. It might be 7'3s. It might be 7'4s. We don't know just yet. I'm starting with a 7'1 and I still feel like I'm going too short, which is the craziest thing. I don't know, man. 2K26's MyPlayer Builder has a whole lot of potential. It also allows you to make a build that can be usable for way longer, in my opinion, with the ample amount of max plus 1s and max plus 2s you are going to have access to. All in all, I am very excited for the NBA 2K26 MyPlayer Builder. I'm excited for NBA 2K26 as a whole. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe. As always, I'm trying to hit 100K. Any sub that can help me with that would be greatly appreciated. But I'm out, man. Later.